Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another the standard deck profile, since we already have the Shaman King set for a few weeks. So I've tried a few builds that I am interested at, and so far they are quite good. Except some I think requires a little bit more adjustment, or just the deck nature is not doing that well. But overall, if you are like using these decks against other collab decks, they are cool. For now, let's start with the most popular one. I think is of course Yo Asakura. So the right line is basically the starter, which is very nice because this deck can actually bring you to top tier sometimes, because the deck is just that good and it's not that hard to pilot. And also, you're also giving your opponents a little bit pressure on trying not to pressure you too much early games, because you can so easy to come back with this deck. So nothing too much about the starter. The grade 1 grab you the partner. The grade 2 help you to draw a little bit of cards, but it's okay if you don't have the color passport. And the main dish is a grade 3. Now, for people who have no idea about what the Shaman King set mainly is focusing on a skill called Oversoul. So, what is Oversoul? It means you put a specific regard with specific names, usually partners, but they do have different kind of copies of the same card. So you can put them into the soul and activate different effects. For example, for Asakura, you can actually do half of almost a full personalized skill that giving your Vanguard to give front row 5k power, and then you get to draw a card, which is very helpful because there is not a lot of cards that are always pumping your own power as a regard. But now with him, anything can hit key numbers, or at least able to hit something. Now his partner is Amitamaru, so you will see him very soon. And the key skill of him is that when this card attacks as a Vanguard, if your damage is 4 more, counter +1 during the battle +1 crit. So he can just gain crit himself, and which helps you a lot by controlling your opponent's damage. You can keep them at 3, swing with your Yo Asakura, counter +1, gain the crit, and say, now, are you going to guard me? If you do, there's something more for you. If you don't, and if I pull a crit, you're in trouble. So it's a little bit like Laurel Nero, but Laurel Nero is say, you can't guard with Sentinels, I'm with high power, you need to give me your whole hand, maybe you survive, maybe not. But he's different, in a way. But the way they're applying pressure is almost the same. So this deck is really quite threatening if they get the tempo going on, and after we see the main deck, you will see how easy to do a lot of pushing turns and doing it every single turn. Yeah. So now let's start with the main deck. Right. First, 3 more Asakura Yo, so you can do personalized while doing Oversoul to give a overall 15k plus to the front row and draw 2 cards. Even though you need to use a unit for it, but it's totally worth it. And you do need quite a lot of souls in this deck, so being able to personalize increase your soul amount as well, which is very nice. Okay, now the Spirit of Fire. This is the only other grade 3 that we are running, and with this kind of spirits, or in Japanese they call it Rei, which is kind of a ghost, and that's why being the theme of Shaman King. The key point about these units is that their critical is actually 0. Yeah, so that means if you swing with them without gaining any crit for them, they will still consider a hit, and on hit effect still activates, but you won't deal damage to your opponent's vanguard, or basically the player. And this card can gain crit if you do have his partner, which is Hao. Then you can get 20k and 1 crit, so healing 33k and trying to swing for 1 damage. But that is huge, because as we all know, in the era, the shield value is very low, and if someone can constantly hit 33k, that is crazy. That is crazy, because it's so easy to gain a crit right here, and even if you just normally pull a critical trigger put on him, he's already 23k himself, and with Hao, then he's hitting for 43k to crit. So it's just a massive beater that you can't miss. And he can basically be put on every single deck as long as you put him and the Hao as a package. Can run with basically all the builds in Shaman King. And if your opponent's regard is being retired by card effects and you do have a Hao units on the board, no matter on Vanguard or Regard Circle, you can Soul Charge 1 if you want to. As I said, you do need to Soul Blast a lot, so having a chance to constantly Soul Charge is very nice. And once you stock up those Soul, you can use them for other purpose, and then you Soul Charge again. And this has no once per turn, so if you do like spam your Soul Blast to retire units, then you can Soul Charge some back. And if you have multiple copies, you can basically activate one of each at this like same sequence of retiring one unit. So it's just a strong card that you can't ignore. But again, his weak point is his critical is 0, so if you can't find his partner, you usually just use him to swing regards. It's still okay. And before we talk about the Hao package fully, we talk about another win con that we do have in this deck, which is with Ana, which is the goddess of winning or victory. So her skill requires you to put her behind your Vanguard, which is basically only center backward Regard Circle skill. If you do have a Asakura Yo Vanguard and the attack didn't hit, counterblast 1, rest her down, you stand your Vanguard, and for the time -1 drive. So your Vanguard is gaining crit and swinging for whatever number that is. The crit is already threatening, and now you tell them, if you don't let me hit, I'm going to hit you again. Although, if you need to fully utilize the combo, you need to first counterblast 1 to give the threat, counterblast 1 if the attack didn't hit, and since the gain crit effect is only during the battle, so you need to counterblast another one for the second swing to gain the crit. That's totally free counterblast. That's a lot, but it's basically your win con. You're trying to win there, and that's not a bad cause at all, because you do get free drive checks, you get 2 swings with crit, and you still have like a big beater waiting there if you want to. That's what more you ask for. And at first I did try to run 3 of her, thinking that 3 probably is enough because I only need to place her behind, but I decided to get another one to complete a playset for a few reasons. One, you really do need her in your hand to get prepared for your winning turn and just place her down, because you can't always just put her down and just think she will not get prison, she will not get retired. No, she will. And once you lost her, there's no card for you to search her again, and even you don't have any skills to search her in the first place. So having her in 4 copies, then you can at least increase the chance of getting her. And more importantly, her critical is 1. So even if you don't have any good stuff, you can still play her as a Regard on left or right side circle, Regard Circle front row. Oversoul with Sakura Yo to at least hit for 15k. That is important, because if you have all your ghosts around just with critical 0 and you need to be lucky to get a critical trigger, but at least they don't. So yeah, running 4, it's just great. And now another power card, which is the House package. So I'm running both versions of House and 3 of each. Now let's talk about the rare version first. The rare version says if you do have a Spirit of Fire in the same column with this card, and when that Spirit of Fire attacks, you can rest this unit and retire one of your opponent's regards. After that, you can soul charge. And since they just form a good line, you will just get the 20k and 1 crit there to at least being able to hit Vanguard for damage. Being able to retire is very important here, and this is basically free because you always work with him that he is healing big enough, so it's good enough for you to just rest your Howl to retire something to gain more controls on the board. And the other Howl, which is a triple rare, has an active skill on the Rearguard circle. As long as you really do Soul Blast 3, you retire one of your opponent's Rearguard, and during your turn this unit get 1 crit. So this card hit for 2 damage, and this hit for big. And your Vanguard hits with 1 extra critical, being able to pump front row, and probably can restand. So you can already see how threatening this is. Like if you have this on one side of the Rearguard circle, this on the other side of the Rearguard circle, and this behind your Spirit of Fire, and Anna at the back of Vanguard, you're basically ready. You don't need any other cards at all, basically. And you just keep Soul Blasting free every single turn, gain crit, soul charge, and then when this attack, retire another one, so you're basically retiring 2 Rearguards every single turn, and giving power pressure, giving crit pressure. Your opponents need to drop cards, they need to rebuild their board. If they're not like Stalker or anything that can simply easier to rebuild their board, they're going to be in trouble. Well, Bruce can also do that with the help of Derek, but still, the threat is here. And then 2 of the Wooden Dragon, just because he can simply be a 15k guard. We don't have a lot of good shield value, and we are running a lot of Great Freeze right here in the era, so we are not like Bastion that can fully utilize Great Freeze for other users or stand them. So increasing chances of guarding successfully, I think is the key here. And you can just save him in your hand to be a 15k shield whenever you want to, and you just need your opponents to be Great Free, and your Vanguard is not Wooden Dragon, so it's quite easy. And even you can just play him down to give early pressure, and if your opponents really attack it, if it's just a 5k, feel free to use a 5k block. If they're asking you more than 5k, just let him go, that's fine. And then one of the Jane, this, if you check my unboxing video, that's the only copy that I bought, so I just chuck her in to have some fun. But if you do want to like fully utilize this package, you can turn this to another Howl. But I do sometimes want to back up because she can counter charge you and draw your card as long as you Soul Blast free. So basically these 2 are chasing the usage of Soul Blast, and you need to pick the right timing to use it. But if you have this card ready, at least after your power turn, when you run out of Counter Blast, and you just probably need 1 Counter Blast just for Anna to push because you push enough, then she can help you out. So far I still think she is kind of needed in the deck, but you don't need too many because usually you won't go too fast in using your Counter Blast while you're still waiting, because so far only these 2 using your Counter Blast and your Grade 2. So you do have a lot of time to save your Counter Blast, and your opponents won't that easy to give you 4 damage, so that you can just gain crit and then threaten them even more. So you do have a lot of time to save your Counter Blast and just use Howl. But if you really get rushed and you start to come back and you find yourself using all your counterblast, she is a good backup to help you at least get one counterblast stacks back, so you can at least do the restand, or you just gain a crit and swing. Yeah, so at least you have options. Okay, entering Great Ones. Amida Maru is needed because we want to oversoul, and your Great One can simply just bring him out for free just by riding. And since your Vanguard will always be Yua Sakura, so as long as you oversoul, this card can at least hit for damage, and you always get 5k anyway. It's a good booster, it's a good attacker, and easy to gain crit. Also, it's a key source for your oversoul, so you can just always bring him back up and soul blast him to a drop and bring him back up and keep recycling. There's a lot of things you can do with him. And then for the booster PG, I got 2 from actually buying the booster box, and then I just find myself more, so here we are. And then 2 of this order, I think in Japanese they just call it Yorai. Not too sure in English how they call it yet, but we will see. With this card, it's so easy to use. 1, the condition is as long as you have a Yua Sakura unit or Vanguard Circle or Regular Circle, you use this order, which basically you can every single turn. And if you do have a Amida Maru, you can give your Yua Sakura Vanguard plus 10k. But if you don't have Amida Maru, you can pick one Amida Maru unit from drop and call it to Regular Circle. So just this card can help you fulfill the condition you want to oversoul. Or if you do already have Amida Maru on the field, and you do want to do a power turn because you don't want to withstand with Ener and just gain crit and swing hard while you personal ride, you can add extra 10k because it is for the whole turn, which means your 2 swings will all get 10k plus, and that means your opponents will need to give you more to guard. Yeah, so you can see the Great Ones is actually very less, because these ones are already good beater, and what you usually need is just like one Amida Maru behind this Howl, and you are basically set. The other side, they are boosted by grade 2 behind to do some stuff, not exactly boosting power, but doing some stuff. So there's not much space that we always need to put Great Ones down at the back, but the deck is already good enough. And entering triggers. First, the over trigger from Shaman King for a few reasons. Yes, we don't have the 50k shield value, but this card can basically wipe the whole board, because the order effect is, if your Vanguard is oversold, then you can retire all of your opponent's triggers, which is quite easy. There are chances that you see a whole board that you hate, but these 2, like, not always here. Sometimes that happens, and you want to wipe your opponent's board so hard, then at least you have another option to do that. And the other reason that I'm using this order is because of the extra effects as an over trigger, that you deal 1 damage to your opponent's Vanguard. Yes, they do occurs their damage check, and you are still in the middle of your drive check attacking, but at least if your opponent is on 5 damage and they guard you so hard and you suddenly pull this out, this can basically just close the game, because the damage dealing condition then requires your opponents to be like 4 damage or less or something like that. Doesn't matter, just take 1 before I even do anything. But another thing that you need to know about this effect is actually a extra effect. So you do need to put your 100 million power on something first before you do the damage. That's something you need to note. It's not that you deal your opponent's damage first and then you consider where the power goes. Not that. You need to do it another way around. You need to give the power first, draw your cards, and then do your extra effects. But so far, this effect really win me games. You can see, for example, the match that I already uploaded. I'm pushing my opponents at 3 while I'm still kind of add the extra crit right there, and this out. Deal 1 damage to 4, on hit to 5, and it's so easy to push after that. So the 50k shield, or like the generic overtrigger that can give another unit 100 million for like 2 times, is valuable. If you do prefer that way, that's okay. But for me, board wipe plus a sudden strike damage is something that I like, and this creates the excitement of suddenly winning the game when you like not seeing yourself winning. But this card is actually helping you to turn around, which is why I like it. And then another 4, Amidamaru crit, because we do want to oversoul, and then other crits of your choice. 4 draws of Amidamaru, because we do Amidamaru for sure. There's only 3 types, so we are fully utilizing there. And then 4 heals, because heals are heals. Yeah, so that's basically the list. And what you need to know as something a little bit extra probably is how you make the board, and it's quite easy. Now, say you do have this, what you need to do is to get a Howl right there, get your Spirits of Fire right there. This is optional, and when you think you can withstand, just play your Anna. That's all you need. That's basically all you need. If you do have this, that's basically 200% formation, if you say, but this is already 100%. This is what you need, because you use the Oversoul plus 5k, you can already hit for 15k to crit. There's pressure, they need to guard it anyway. This you can just swing first if you want to, because there are different conditions. One is your opponent's on 3 damage, let's say, and say you already have 4, you can activate this. Now what you need to do is swing, retire 1. Now I'm 33. Are you going to guard it? If not, this hit is fatal, and I'm going to do it 2 times, and this is fatal. So you need to guard all that, and this is going in, and say you want to guard or not. If you guard, I can withstand and hit you another time. Who knows what I'm going to get in my guard check, or you take it. Maybe I get a crit, maybe not. And this can be like afterwards, like put all the trigger powers there as a like backup. Also, as I just said, the over trigger we have can suddenly deal a damage, right? So even if they are free, they guarded this, and this is going to swing, and they say no guard when you gain a crit, and you say okay, over trigger, deal 1 damage. You're on 4 now. I put all my power there, just in case if I don't hit. Right? Then 100 million, that's something that they cannot stop at all. That's already 2 plus 1, that's 3. Easy. Or even if they PG it, you can put the power right here and withstand with your Sakura, with Anna. And this is 2 crit with 100 million, and this is swinging for another 28 or maybe 18 or 23 something with crit. And you put all here and attack. So every single attack in this formation can be fatal, except this one. But this one is the key to basically make all the attack fatal. That's one way to attack. Now the other way, say you still have the same formation, what you want to do. If you your opponent still at 3, instead of just going for this to push down to 4, you can basically swing it for a banger. They may guard it, they may not. If they guard, you restand. If they don't guard, then you can basically put all power to your Spirit of Fire. You might ask why I'm not put to Hao, because he can just attack for like 2 damage. But this is just such a very strong power unit that can be 33k by himself, Oversoul 38, plus Personal Right 48. So the extra 10k that you give him will take away a lot of shields. So you put all that here, unless this cannot hit at all, then maybe you give this Hao a 10k just in case he can hit, and then you swing with this and say, okay, give me all your cards, because it's fatal. And then this attack for 2 damage to secure your game, because they need to heal 2 times. Or they need to get at least Overtrigger and heal. Right? So this formation is just so strong that I play against a lot of decks. Sometimes win, sometimes lose, of course. It's no guarantee winning. But the pressure that I can apply to them every single turn is so massive. And they are so threatening to give me more than 3 damage. In a match that I upload, you can see my friend keep hitting the Hao, because once you don't have any Haos, this hits don't hit any damage. So he keeps attacking my Hao, but I do have a few copies saved in hand, so every single turn I just place another one, wipe his board, okay, let him go, play another one, wipe his board, and just repeating again. And as long as they put resources to attack your Hao, meaning you have less pressure on your Vanguard, because you at least take 1 hit less. And if it's just a 5k shield, it's so easy to drop a 5k shield to protect your Hao, so I don't see a problem with that. But you do need to be very careful on using him, because in this deck I'm only running 3 copies, which once they are all out, you have less of a pressure turn, because you also need to require on how to Soul Blast all the Amidamarus that you oversoul with to the drop, and then you can use cards like Yorai to bring them back and oversoul again. Yeah, so the deck itself is not too hard to learn, which is quite good as a starter, but you do need quite a lot of stuff to boost the deck. For example, this is a triple, this is a triple, this is a double, this is rare. And then what other types? Like this is a triple, but you can simply turn into one of these, or you can turn into another one of these. That's not hurting you at all. And this is double. But other than that, it's basically commons, starter cards, and PGs that you can. Worst of the worst, you can just use the starter PGs. That won't hurt you at all. But if you can get access to these, why not? So the deck itself is quite easy to build, and it's just strong, so strong that you do need a little bit of thinking, but the formation is easy. So enjoy, have fun. If you do like Shaman King, make sure you give this deck a try. It's probably your best shot in winning games with Shaman King. Other decks are also quite strong, but this gives you a very good win con to gain crit, Wisdom and Vanguard. Your regards are hitting big, hitting a lot of pressure, and again, the package, this package can just fit in basically every single build in your Shaman King. So, little tips if you are like, if by chance Shaman King get into English, what are the cards that you need to pick up? Basically these. others maybe this and this. That's basically what you need to pick up. And of course, if you play this deck, if you don't play this deck, basically these are what you chase for. And once you got this, you can basically play every single Shaman King deck. You utilize their own abilities and keep pressure by using these. So, yeah. Again, enjoy, have fun. Let me know what you think about this deck. I did play with so many different builds. I play with Monster Strike, I did play with like Saga, I did play with Bow and Arrow, and a lot of other stuff. And so far, I'm having fun of it. And even just between Shaman King decks, this can win sometimes cannot, depending on if you give your opponents enough pressure, did you draw Anna, did your opponents give you enough damage to push. But again, it's really fun, so recommend you to give it a try, and then you can come back to me and let me know what you think. Yeah. So if you enjoy this profile, give this video a like, subscribe for more my channel to more deck profiles and fight videos. Sometimes I do other card games unboxings as well, and maybe getting into other card games as well. And of course I do Vanguard unboxing, so make sure you also check those out, and comment down below if you have anything to say. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.